Hey guys, so as you can see I'm in my little corner again, which means we're doing another pregnancy sit down video, and I thought I'd do like a first symptoms type of video just to catch you up on like all the types of stuff that I've been going through during pregnancy. And instead of doing just a normal like first trimester like symptoms video, I wanted to do one that's like a little bit different and do like the 2-week wait symptoms, because this is the type of video that I used to like always watch when I was like broody months and months ago, and I was like always looking for like little signs of something. So yeah, I used to love watching these videos, so I thought some of you might as well. So yeah, it's always like the 2-week wait that's like the most like awkward time for knowing your symptoms, because everyone knows like the basic symptoms past like 5 weeks, but it's kind of still confusing to know like what's normal and like what is like an actual symptom during that little waiting period. So yeah, I do think it's interesting doing these type of videos, so that's what I'm going to do today. So I hope that you all like it. Just need to have some of my drink because I'm stupidly dehydrated at the minute. If you wanted to know, I'm in like week 16 at the minute, so I'm filming this really late, I know, but like I said, I just wanted to catch you up on all of the things pregnancy that I've been going through, and then obviously soon I'm going to be caught up and it's going to be all the regular type of updates and things like that. So yeah. Okay, so I wrote all my symptoms down for like the first few weeks, so I'm just going to be like looking back on like what I'd written down. So with the symptoms, I'm actually going to start off on week 3, so like literally since I'd ovulated, because I kind of like noticed those symptoms from then, and I'm going to do it to week 5. So yeah, the very first symptom that I ended up having in week 3 was the fact that I feel like, I don't know how long it was, probably like a year, but it was probably longer than that. I just didn't really like clock it before. But I noticed that I started like cramping during like my ovulation. So once I'd ovulated, I'd be cramping, and then I'd cramp up until like my period, basically. Not like heavy, but just like noticeable cramps, you know what I mean? So yeah, the cramping during ovulation up until my period was like a usual thing for me when I'm not pregnant. But what I ended up noticing is that I like cramped during my ovulation for like maybe a day or 2, something like that, and then instead of it carrying on, it just kind of like stopped, and like I kind of forgotten about it. So that was like the very first like sign that something was a little bit like different, I suppose. And then the second symptom, if this is too like TMI, then I'm sorry, this is probably like all my pregnancy like symptom videos are probably going to be TMI. So the other symptom that I ended up having was constipation. So like usually when it would be like my period coming up and stuff like that, I would notice that like my body would like flush itself out basically, but it wasn't doing that this time, and I wasn't really thinking too much of it, but like looking back, that was definitely a symptom that just like it didn't really get too bad, but it was like there. So yeah, that was one of the things that was pretty annoying, but was definitely an early symptom. Okay, so the next symptom in week 3 that I ended up having was I started noticing that I was like more emotional. Like I was crying at random times and just like getting moody over like stupid little stuff basically. And the only time that I ever really used to have this was like when I was younger, like teen years, and it was like the day before my period, and I'd get all emotional and stuff like that. But I hadn't had that for like a long time, so that was definitely something that was a bit different for me, just being really emotional and just like yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare that week, I feel like, in all honesty. I held it together like to myself, but like in my head I could just feel like how emotional I was. So yeah, that wasn't too great. And then the next symptom that I ended up noticing was my sore boobs. Like I always got like sore boobs like anyways before my period, and sometimes they would be like more sensitive than others, but this time they were kind of like, they were like way more sensitive. Like you could definitely tell they felt more full as well, like not a lot, but just like a little bit like round the sides round here, where usually it would be like under there, if that makes sense. Yeah, definitely more sore, definitely more full, and definitely like the nipples were hurting. And then the very last symptom that I ended up having for week 3 was the fact that I was 2-3 days late on my period. So obviously that's when I ended up going and getting the test, and I took it, and I think I was like 4 weeks and 1 day pregnant at this point. Like I did it like pretty early. Yeah, I didn't actually have to do like the 2-week wait, but I'm aware that not everybody finds out that early, so that's why I'm going to do week 4 and week 5 as well. So week 4 symptoms. So week 4 symptoms, 1, the constipation. Oh my god, I love how I get quiet when I say that word, like constipation. Oh bless. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, the constipation got like way worse. Like, not like, obviously it's never been like really bad, but it's just like in comparison to like week 3 and like what it was usually like. Yeah, it was definitely more significant. I don't know whether it was just because like I'd found out at this point, so my body like knew that was like a symptom, and it was just like, okay, well, we'll make it worse. So there you go. So yeah, that one wasn't really too nice. Magnesium apparently works with that, so that's what I did and helped me out and stuff like that. But yeah, that was definitely a symptom in week 4. And then the next symptom again is sore boobs, and like nipples got bigger. Like, they was just like, it was just so much more intense. I feel like a lot of the symptoms in week 4 compared to week 3, they're kind of like the same. They're just like a more intense version, basically, just like the hormones were just rising and stuff like that. So yeah, my boobs were like really sore, and like my nipples were actually starting to get like bigger. They were kind of like really like sore to the touch, like you couldn't even like do that, if it makes sense. It's like, oh, they were just like really swollen and sensitive. So yeah, it weren't really nice at that point at all. I really had to get used to that part. And then the next symptom that I ended up getting was slight nausea. It wasn't like anything really bad, it was just like noticeable, if that makes sense. So yeah, I wasn't being sick and it wasn't stopping me from doing anything. It was just like there basically, and I could get rid of it pretty easily. But yeah, just thought I'd put it down as a symptom anyway, just because I know that it's not something that would have happened if it wasn't for the fact that I was pregnant. Okay, so this one was like a little tiny bit weird, but I ended up noticing it quite a few times, so that's why I've put it down as a symptom, even though I feel like it was like pretty early for it to start doing this. But basically I started noticing that my joints and like my muscles were looser, if that makes sense. There's a name for it, I'm pretty sure that I'll write it here if I find it. But yeah, I started noticing that my joints were looser, so I'd go to pick something up and like my knuckles would crack, or like I would be walking and my knee would like do, I don't know, it just felt like not as strong basically. So yeah, I just felt like everything was loose and just like, I don't know, maybe the hormones were just like settling in and that type of thing. I don't know why it happened, but yeah, it was definitely something I noticed, and it carried on like on and off as well. Yeah, that one was a bit odd. Let me know if any of you guys have had that, or if that was just like an early random thing that like I ended up having. But yeah, that was definitely a symptom for me. Okay, so the next symptom that I ended up having was slight cramping, and it wasn't like anything like a period cramp really. It was more like a stretching type of cramp, or like a loosening up cramp. It was I feel like it was basically just like my uterus growing a little tiny bit, but yeah, I could feel the cramping with that part. And then the other thing that ended up happening was backache, which I'm sure is linked to like the loosening of my joints or whatever it was, or like, I don't know, just the fact that my body was starting to change. But yeah, my backache started to kick in a little bit more, so I think I started resting a little bit around this point. Yeah, that was the last symptom of week. So I'm going to do week 5 because there wasn't that many symptoms. So all I've wrote down for this one is slight nausea. So I'm not sure if it was like the same as week 4 or got a bit worse in week 5, but either way, nausea was still there. The next one that I ended up getting was that I started noticing that I was like spotty. I don't know if you guys have ever seen my YouTube channel or my skincare routine, but usually I am like pretty lucky with like clear skin. But what I started noticing was I was getting like a few pimples, and like, I don't know, just like, it wasn't necessarily the fact that like I've got like loads of spots or had loads of spots or like acne spots or anything like that. It was just the fact that I noticed that my skin just wasn't as good as before. And yeah, I was just getting like more like the little tiny pimple ones and like the blackheads and stuff like that. So yeah, it was obviously enough for me to notice. So that's been a symptom that's been ongoing. I definitely say that my skin has not been the nicest to me. And then the very last symptom that I ended up putting down for week 5 was frequent urination. Oh my god, when this kicked in, it was so annoying. I felt like I was like peeing like every like 15-20 minutes, and then I'd wake up like every 3 hours on the night and I was just like peeing. Like, I can't remember if it was that bad on week 5, but I just remember the frequent urination stage, and oh god. It's like the body's secret trap of getting you used to parenthood and waking up throughout the night. That's how it does it. It just gets you used to peeing throughout the night. You'd think you'd be able to rest, but no, it starts from as soon as possible. So yeah, that was definitely another thing that I noticed, and that was also the last symptom that I ended up having for week 5. So I hope that you like this video. I know how annoying it is to be in that like 2-week wait period where like you just don't know if something is being classed as something, or like, is it your period or are you pregnant? Like, which one is it? So I hope I've been able to help you out a little tiny bit. I say if you are trying to conceive, then I wish you all the best, and I hope that these symptoms have been able able to help you out with like trying to figure out what's going on with. If you are pregnant as well, then congratulations, and we're on this journey together. So yeah, it's just really nice and stuff like that, and I hope that I've been able to help you out with this video a little bit, or entertain you, or just, I don't know, whatever, catch you up on my pregnancy itself. So yeah, either way, thank you so much for watching and like getting this far. If you did, I don't know how long this video actually is. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here before I talk too long. If you do want to keep up to date on my pregnancy journey and just like videos that I do in general, then it would be like amazing if you could subscribe, because then we can go on this little journey together, and it'll just be so nice and stuff like that. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna stop babbling. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, actually, if you made it this far, comment down below whatever like emoji that I've put down here, and yeah, that's it. I will see you in my next video. I think it's gonna be my 12-week scan and like a bit of like a vlog. So if that's anything that you're interested in, make sure you have your notifications on so you don't miss it, because we know what YouTube is like. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.